Hey everyone, in this video I wanted to bring to your attention one growth stock that's down 42% that I think you might regret if you don't buy it on this dip here. But before I reveal what that growth stock is, I'm going to go through some of its financial metrics to highlight what has me so attracted to this stock and why I think it's a buy on this dip here. So let's get started with its revenue growth. Now look at the revenue here chart for the trailing 12-month period going back to January of 2021. You could see an explosive uptick here in revenue up to $8.7 billion. Now this company, it's a travel company, it's a travel stock, so it was devastated during the pandemic when people did not want to travel. In fact, worldwide spending on travel crashed from 1.5 trillion in 2019 all the way down to 610 billion in 2020. Now in 2021 and 2022 and so far in 2023, that spending is rebounding, but we're still not back to the overall spending on travel that we had in 2019. We're still not back there. And that's despite the fact that most every travel company, you think of airplane companies, car rental companies, hotel companies, and others, they've all raised prices around double digits, right? 10 to 15 to 20% for some of these companies. So despite the fact that consumers are paying 10 to 20% higher prices, overall spending is still not back to where it was in 2019. That's because the quantity of travel is still not back to where it was in 2019. It's working its way back. In 2023, the estimate is that worldwide spending on travel will be 1.1 trillion. That will still be 400 billion below where it was in 2019. So this company is rebounding this strongly, and it's got a long runway to continue growing as consumers unleash that pent-up demand for travel. Perhaps more impressively is the way this company turns sales into cash flow from operations. It's running a very asset-light business model. In fact, it's a platform that brings together travelers and hosts. That might give you a big hint as to what this stock is. It's a company that brings together travelers and hosts, so it doesn't own any of the inventory on the platform, which makes for a very asset-light business model, which makes it very conducive to cash flows and profitability. And what you could see here is the company's cash flow from operations to sales percentage was an impressive 44%, and it's moved very nicely upward over the last 2 years. I love business models that generate strong cash flow from sales. It shows me that it's lucrative, it's asset light, and it's got the potential to grow even more without needing vast sums of capital to invest so that they can grow. And finally, this stock is not prohibitively expensive. I won't say it's cheap because at a forward price to earnings of 31.58, that's not the range that I would consider cheap. But if you compare this price to earnings with the company's growth, then it provides a good value, because if it continues growing at that rate, the denominator, earnings, will grow, and it'll make the price that you paid look cheap because earnings will grow. You might be paying a forward price to earnings of 31 right now, but when earnings grow, that means that you paid a bargain price for those earnings in 2023, because those earnings increased in 2024 and in 2025 and in 2026, and it makes it look like, oh, I'm glad I bought this in 2023 when earnings were not yet this high. So, relatively speaking, you are getting a good value at this valuation, but I won't say that it's cheap at this valuation of a forward PE of 31. So, for all those reasons, right, this company is growing very nicely, and it's benefiting from that pent up demand from consumers unleashing travel demand. It's got very strong cash flow from operations to sales, and is trading at a relatively reasonable price. So what is this stock? If you haven't guessed already, it's Airbnb. Airbnb is this growth stock that's down significantly off its high that I think you might regret not buying on this dip here. All right, but that's all I've got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.